our guests to the meeting. You start with the hand, Honorable Mkhalipi.
Yeah, Chair. Morning.
Yeah. Morning.
I asked you who handed when you said Mokhoyemore. I said who handed. We are prating today.
Oh, no, that's fine. No problem.
No, Chair, I want to raise that point that we spoke about yesterday. You didn't give us directive about the meeting that's supposed to take place on Friday. And I think that you must take it out, Chairperson, must take it up, because I don't think you must allow the department to play us this. So unfortunately, we have to raise this matter here because we are not responding in the group of WhatsApp where we raise things. So I thought that before we start our meeting, can you please give us a directive, because we really need the department to come. And remember, Chair, the department was aware about this matter a long time ago, even before recess. And then we can't accept this if they want just to be dodgy, and then the committee must allow that. So I'm appealing to you. Please,
can we, I think let's take it after this meeting. Let's not open another meeting in a meeting. There are guests who so I would suggest let's deal with it after this meeting.
Yeah, Chair, no, it's fine. But again, now please give us a response when we raise issues on the WhatsApp group, because you are pushing us to raise things that were not supposed to be raised in this meeting, because we are not giving us a directive, Chair. Thanks.
The meeting is officially open, and today we are considering a petition from residents of the Emalahleni Local Municipality that were calling on the National Assembly to investigate the persistent shortage of water in their areas in the last 10 years. That's what we'll be dealing with. But let's deal with the
recording in progress.
With the preliminary issues to confirm our meeting. In our midst, we have got the petitioner, Honorable Kruger, and I'm sure there are also others who would be coming in. We also have the Councillor Nkali Chana, who is the Executive Mayor of Emalahleni, and the HOD for Coxstar in Mpumalanga, Mr. Ngubani. I would like to welcome all of you, and even those that might not have been given to me in the list. And you are meeting members of the Portfolio Committee for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the National Assembly. I'm sure members would introduce themselves as we proceed. Any other apologies or apologies? The acting secretary, Ms. Twala.
Good morning, Chairperson and honorable members and colleagues. I have an apology from the DG, Mr. Mohale, Acting DDG, and Ms. Utumelo Diale, Chief Director, represent the DG for COPTA. Thank you, Chairperson. That's all.
That's all. Do we form a quorum?
Yes, Chairperson, we do.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, any other member who might have anything, leaving early or whatever, any apologies? Okay, let's assume there's none.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ampula being killed by my car yesterday, but now I'll take it to the dealer. So maybe I might be a little bit out and then come back.
Okay. Noted, honorable member. seeing that there are no further hands, I've already welcomed our guests on behalf of the committee, and possible indicate that would like to apologize for the delay in dealing with this petition. I know it came some time ago, and I'm sure because of the program, we have not been able to especially deal with petitions. A petition, I know its simplest definition would be when you have made attempts to get a response from possible the executive, and because you could not get that response, then you decide to petition the National Assembly, as it has happened here. So I'd like to apologize for that today, but let's deal with it now. We have that opportunity. First, we have for 5 minutes Honorable Kruger to introduce this petition. And in terms of the arrangement, somebody from the community is going to make a presentation for 15 minutes, then Emalahleni Local Municipality. After that, it would be Coxter, then discussions. Honorable Kruger, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to table this petition in front of your committee. Yes, you're 100% correct. It took a very long time, and in the meantime, our communities suffered a lot without water. And seeing it was Freedom Day on last week, unfortunately, our communities in Emalahleni is not that free because they struggle with water. Chairperson, I'm not going to be very long. The history of the water supply challenges came a very long way. It's for 20 years and more now that Emalahleni struggle with a supply of constant water. Although we got the biggest dam, municipal dam in the southern hemisphere, I heard, we struggle. In 2011, a councillor took the Emalahleni municipality to a complaint to the Human Rights Commission, and they made some. They investigated and they made some recommendations, which most of the recommendations we are still struggling to. Most of the regulations haven't adhered to because of different reasons, and I think finances is one of the reasons, and that is where COCTA from national can assist us. But Chair, I don't know if I can read the petition. Maybe I must read it, noting water is a basic right in terms of clause 727.1b of the Constitution Act of 96, and provide that everyone, regardless of race, religion, or culture, has the right to food and water. The persistent shortage of water in Emalahleni Local Municipality has not been properly addressed or resolved over the past 10 years. Noting that the recommendations made in the report of the Human Rights Commission, and then I gave the reference, has not been implemented in the residential areas, still do not have water supply for up to 7 or 8 consecutive days. Water leaks are not repaired within a reasonable time span, taking up to 3 months to be repaired, resulting in thousands of liters of potable water being wasted. Water tankers not being dispatched to areas without water unless specifically being requested and insufficient information supplied to the reason of the expected duration of water supply. And then many members of Emalahleni signed this petition. I can just read you a few, only 3, but Jackie Nudia from Witbank said everything is deteriorating at an alarming rate, and it's time for that something is done. Bad. Water infrastructure is bad, poor repair, not rehabilitated, of service after repair work. No planned maintenance, no spares, and to mention poor workmanship. It includes electricity and road problems which go hand in hand. Then there's Koen Oosthuizen say, water of meer as aan. Water is meer af as aan. Partyplekke in 'n paar dae, een dag aan, weer paar dae af. Mens moet hande was, maar kan nie altyd met water wat so baie af is nie. Hier vra ons asseblief vir aandag. Dan het Meisie sê, yes, water is a problem in Emalahleni. We take a month without water. Chair, with that, I table this motion in front of you. And again, I say thank you that we can discuss this, and hopefully we walk out here with a solution. I must just mention one thing, Chairperson, that there's a huge shortage of water. Although we have this big dam just outside Witbank, and our capacity to clean the water, it's not up to standards, but Clive will talk about it. But there is solutions, and we already had discussions with the municipality even before COVID about this, what you call it, solutions. But it seems like it falls on deaf ears. But Chair, thank you for the time, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. We will now allow Mr. Hatch, who must present on behalf of the community. Mr. Hatch, over to you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I appreciate the fact that you're giving me the opportunity to address you today. Could you share a screen with me, please?
What is the request?
To share the screen with me so that I can make a presentation.
Okay. Let that happen, please. Secretariat. Can we please share the screen with Mr. Hatch?
Chair, we also sent the presentation to
Yes,
the
I'm saying that, Chair.
so thank you.
A problem of load shedding here. I'm trying. Thank you.
Can see it. Is that the one? Mr. Hatch?
No, that's...
This one is for Emalahleni Municipality.
Yes, but That's the one, Chair.
Okay, let's continue then.
Thank you very much. My name is Clive Hatch. I've been a resident of Emalahleni for the last 60 years, and I think I've seen the city grow up in front of me. And unfortunately, particularly in the last 20 years, the pace of infrastructure growth and maintenance has not kept pace with the population growth in the area. The history was presented to you briefly by the Honourable Kruger, and I won't go through it, but in 2011, 12 years ago, it first went to the SAHRC, who issued a report on the 18th of December 2013. The report then was about 90 days prior to the submission of that report. Not a single area in Emalahleni did not have water supply, some of them for up to 6 or 7 days at a time. Over the years, there was negligence, there insufficient staff to maintain the infrastructure, and the municipality continued at that stage, and still does, to charge residents rates and taxes for services which have just not been rendered. And we simply do not have sufficient qualified persons. To the best of my knowledge, there isn't a qualified water engineer employed in the city of Emalahleni. The findings of, two major findings of the SAHRC in report 0134 of 2011 was that the Commission found that the second respondent, which was the Emalahleni Local Municipality, had violated the rights of residents and that it failed and neglected to take reasonable steps to provide residents with sufficient and clean water. The Commission also found that in failing to provide the residents with sufficient and clean water, they had violated the residents' rights enshrined in Section 27 of the Constitution, that they violated the residents' rights to human dignity. Regrettably, that has not changed in the past 11 years. The recommendations from the SAHRC was that a maintenance and operational plan is required to run the water supply on an efficient, effective and sustainable manner to address access to basic water challenges facing residents of Emalahleni, especially women and children and other vulnerable groups, and that plan be furnished within 3 months of the date of this report. I don't know if such a plan was ever tabled in council, but it's certainly not been implemented at this stage. And that the respondents enhance community participation and enhance some level of transparency in their governance by convening regular feedback sessions with residents every 3 months relating to the supply of water to the residents. And a copy of the minutes of such meetings are to be submitted to the SAHRC. Certainly, as a person who is deeply interested in civic affairs and participates in it as a non-elective person, I have never heard of a feedback meeting annually, let alone quarterly. And this is unacceptable. If I could just mention, for example, in an area since 11 a.m., 1100 hours yesterday, in Reno Ridge 4, there's been a water outage. As at 8 o'clock this morning, the ward councillor still had no feedback as to what has caused the water outage, why there is no water, and when it will be returned. And just before the start of the meeting, I went onto the municipal Facebook page and there's no comment. So in 21 hours, the municipality is unable to get back to residents or even the ward councillor as to what the problem is. This is unacceptable in an age of mass communication, Mr. Chair. An overview of the current situation is that, and this comes directly from the Emalahleni annual report, that there is a demand of about 150 megalitres per day. Installed capacity is 130 megalitres a day, and there's about 35% water losses. And it's projected that by 2035, there'll be 260 megalitres per day required. It's further exacerbated by the fact that there's coal mining and agricultural activities in the catchment area, and these adverse effects resulting in the water that does come through being contaminated with acid mine drainage, which deteriorates the resources of the water quality, and especially during the rainy season, there's a high concentration of manganese, which has an adverse anesthetic effect on the potential and a potential health risk when it's consumed in high concentration. And 9 years later, since that report was tabled, the residents' rights to human dignity are still being violated. As I pointed out, regular feedback sessions every 3 months do not take place. There's a total breakdown in communication with residents. Ward councillors report matters and seldom get feedback. The Facebook page is not kept up to date. Residents are no longer permitted to post comments onto the Facebook page in the hope of getting a response. So you're left with having to phone a help desk, which is a misnomer, to say the least, because if you're lucky enough to get an answer, during the past week, all the help desk has been able to tell you is to phone this number, that's the standby team. No questions can get answered by the help desk. So it is definitely, I would say, an ideal definition of an oxymoron. The causes of the problem is the infrastructure has reached the end of its lifespan. There's approximately 600 kilometers that of asbestos and galvanized metal pipes that need replacing. Councillor Musa Bomji, in a meeting in council in 2012, suggested that it needs to be, a plan needs to be started to replace it. There is no clear plan to replace the water pipes. A water pipe is bursts, it's repaired for a short distance, and a day or two later, the same pipe bursts a couple of meters down from where the first burst was. Pump stations have been known to be flooded, and water cannot be pumped to consumers. There are no submersible pumps to clean out, to dry out the pump rooms if they do become flooded. The water is still unable to be drunk. The deficits for supply and demand is not being challenged, and water leaks go unattended for hours, sometimes even days, without being repaired. Here's an example. This water pipe in Willow Street in DeHerville Extension 4 in Ward 24 was reported on the 12th of April. I drove past on the 1st of May, and this is what it still looks like. The road's now deteriorated, and the water burst pipe is still flowing. There's an example of the water, a glass of water and a bath full of water. And if you can expect anybody to drink that safely or want to wash their clothes in it, you really are impinging upon their human dignity. The type of reporting you get back when you do is, here are the water levels of the reservoirs. Point A, faulty, faulty. Point B, faulty. Point C, faulty. You know, can you honestly expect residents to give any credence to this type of reporting? It's totally unacceptable in the 21st century in a city that prides itself on excellence. The ongoing problem areas, and I can list all 34 wards, but these are serious ones at the moment. Wards 20 and 22, which is extension 10, Blancheville and Jackaroo Park. Simply every week, there are water shortages for a day, 2 days at a time. When the council had discussed it and had a meeting with the officials, they were told that they're working on it. That discussion took place a year ago, and the problem has not been resolved. It's come nowhere near to being resolved. Ward 5 and 6 in Cooperative extensions, which is also the suburbs extensions 5 and 6, the regular supply of potable water is non-existent. And residents have to buy water to drink, and they have to go to a nearby stream to get water to flush toilets and do their washing. And in those streams is where the animals drink, impinging on their human rights and human dignity. Ward 19 in Duva Park, the informal settlement there with a population of between 1 and 2,000 has JoJo tanks that contain 16,000 liters of water. These tanks are not filled on a regular basis, resulting in residents having to no water for days on end. These residents have found a way to tap into the water supply that goes to Duva Park, which results in the residents there having their water supply interrupted and not having regular potable water. And this is a regular occurrence. It's not like it's a once-off. Ward 33, extensions 8, 16, and 33. Hardly a day goes by without a burst water pipe. In Steve Bontebika Street, I think the whole street is made up of bits and pieces of where they have repaired pieces of pipes every second day for the last year. Water leak in Tanya Street took 3 months to repair. Water streak outside 3 Kreger Street has taken 4 months to repair. 4 days to repair. And in Gerrard Street, extension 16, after a week, the residents got so tired of not having water, they actually went out and bought their own pipe and got the municipality to install it. And you're charging people rates and taxes and extravagant amounts for water, which I see they want to increase again in the new budget. Short-term solutions, there should be regular communication to the residents to explain the lack of supply, when the supply would return. Water tankers should be dispatched after 6 hours of no water supply to a particular area. And surely water leaks should be repaired within 12, 24 hours at the maximum, not days or weeks. And the communication should include residents being able to report on the Facebook page once again. The long-term solution is a total upgrade of the infrastructure, and for that, funds have got to be made available. And we as the residents of Emalahleni would like to implore on your committee, sir, to please make every effort through Treasury and through your influence in the budget process to make sure that the funds are made available to Emalahleni so that we can have our dignity returned with a regular water supply. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We will now move to the authority in Emalahleni Local Municipality. Generally, you are the people of Emalahleni. Can I hand over to you, Executive Mayor? Councillor Nkalichana.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the Portfolio Committee to award this opportunity to raise the issues that they have raised. Yeah, I'm not sure if I am audible.
You are audible, but would like to see you as well.
Okay, I'm trying to connect here. Not sure if you can see me.
Can see you.
You can see me, yes, yes. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the committee. And we truly appreciate the invitation to be able to understand exactly the problem that has been handed over to you so that you can be able to work together in order for us to be able to find an amicable solution. With me, I've got my team. I'm gonna request the technical director just to come in and assist us on these other matters, because unfortunately, I just joined you now. I was in hospital, just came out of the hospital now. So I did not follow most of the discussions that were happening. So I just joined in about 10 minutes ago. And unfortunately, so if I know the technical director was in the meeting, so if you can come in, then where there's need to be addition, I'll then add things.
Okay, we agree.
If you are in.
Yes, we agree.
Thank you. Mr. Lilaka.
Thank you, Honorable Executive Mayor. Once again, a very good morning to honorable members of the Portfolio Committee. As indicated, my name is Mike Lilaka. I'm Executive Director responsible for technical services within the municipality. And yes, indeed, we as a municipality do agree to the number of issues that have been raised, and then to the extent that even the Human Rights Commission has also been on our shores to come and do some investigation, which we are part thereunto, and then as well as we contributed towards what possible solutions would assist the municipality going forward. In the main, we also recognize the fact that we are both a water service authority and water service provider within our area of jurisdiction, whereby now it's our main responsibility to ensure that all the consumers, the community members, and users within the municipality do have got a reliable and a sustainable supply of water at all material times. To that extent, we have highlighted quite a number of things that needed to be done in terms of planning, in terms of budgeting, in ensuring that the water that we're getting from our Emalahleni Dam, it gets purified, it gets stored, and it then gets ultimately distributed and reticulated to the consumers within the municipality. As indicated in a form of background that I'm not going to dwell too much into, it is that as a municipality, we do own about 3 municipal dams. The main one being the Emalahleni Dam that's located within the within the greater Emalahleni area, which contributes to about between 80 and 85% of the potable water that is being supplied to our communities. We have got Hanala there as well, Hanala, a water treatment plant that is also being fed from Usutu scheme. And then we have got a Risprait treatment facility that is being fed from Risprait Dam as well. We all know that Risprait is one of those mining towns that has since been taken over by the municipality that we are responsible for all the other municipal basic service provision there. And yes, indeed, I would imagine that honorable member has indicated that one of the major contributing factors towards our water supply chain is the unprecedented migration patterns and the population growth that the municipality is experiencing on daily basis. We had on average about 3.02% of population growth, whereby now insofar as infrastructure development and infrastructure growth, that particular growth is not being seen. To that particular extent, what we then did is that we submitted business plan, we have submitted requests to the sponsoring departments, such as your COCTA, such as your Department Water and Sanitation, to assist insofar as bulk water service provision is concerned, to assist insofar as AC replacement is concerned. Because one of the major challenges that we are facing is the continual pipe breakages and pipe leaks, as was indicated there earlier on, to say that our asbestos cement pipe, they are old and they are aged, and then to an extent that they could not accommodate the development that the municipality is experiencing. Safe to say that some of the number of challenges or factors that contribute to water supply challenges is our deteriorating raw water quality that is coming from decanting water from the mining company, especially during the hot water season, where now we've got a lot of manganese that's come into the dam and ultimately into our treatment plant. That takes a prolonged time. Theft and vandalism is at the rife, both in terms of opportunistic and then organized crime as well, creates a serious challenge, which it was also made mention to the South African Human Rights Commission as a major contributing factor towards the water supply shortages. The interruptions resulting in water losses and as well as the water security. However, safe to say that in the water security, what we then did, we have applied to the Department of Water and Sanitation to increase our abstraction permit from about 70 to about 106, 110 megaliters. That process is on. We are finalizing the issues around public participation in order to draw as much water that needs to be obtained from the dam. Second, there and to what we see that we are doing as a as a municipality.
I'm sorry for disturbing. Are you going through your presentation or you talking to something else? There was a presentation that was taken up, which we said that one belonged to Emalahleni. Is that the one you are going through?
Yes, Chair, that is the one that I'm going through. And if maybe we would ask.
But can we say, yes, it must be flighted.
Thank you, Chair. Could we be assisted by the Secretariat just to flight the presentation for the honorable members to have a glance at it as well? There was a presentation, not the report that was done. That presentation was titled Emalahleni Local Municipality Water Challenges and Interventions. That particular PowerPoint presentation, Secretariat.
Is that the one that is reflected there?
No, it's not the one, Honorable Chair. This is the main report. That's a presentation that is being extracted out of this main report, as it was done in a PowerPoint form.
Can we please assist? Secretariat. The Secretariat, are you able to assist? In fact, why I stopped you, there was a member who was saying you are rushing through your presentation. They could not follow. Then I thought maybe if it was something that we could see here. Is that possible, Secretariat, to, okay.
Person, good morning. Maybe let us assist.
Please.
This is Ngubane HOD of Cooperative. I think the Secretariat must just look for a presentation with the Mpumalanga logo. And I think perhaps that's where the confusion may be. It won't be on the municipality logo. It will be on the provincial logo. It will have Emalahleni Local Municipality, Water Challenges and Interventions, as Mr. Wililaka had pointed out. So if they look for such a presentation, they will be able to find it.
Good morning, Chairperson. We did not receive the PowerPoint presentation. The report is the only one that we received.
But I see in this list, there's something saying Emalahleni Water Challenges and Intervention.
And the chair here, we only see the Gmail now on the screen.
That's what I'm talking to. Otherwise, what do we do? Are you able to do anything? HOD, is there anything that
Yeah.
can be done?
Yeah, no, let's resend again, Chair, just for them to be able to catch up as soon as possible. I know that we have been struggling in the morning with the load shedding, but this is a precedent that would have been sent before. But we are having it sent yet again so that we can all have the privilege of seeing the report as Mr. Lilaga goes through it. Let me check, Chair, if it is sent already.
Yeah,
Sorry,
did I give
yes, it's
Mike
gone. It's gone, Chair.
sharing rights?
It is gone, and then let's work on it.
Sorry, Chair.
Should
Chair.
we just check it quickly?
Person,
Yes.
clarity, as Mr. Ngubane says that the presentation was sent before. When is before? Because the members of the committee have to receive these presentations prior, and we have not received the presentation. We're just going to see it now. Oh, it's the first time. Emalahleni Local Municipality Water Challenges and Intervention. It's the first time. How could that be? I mean, how are we going to interact now?
My assumption is that, Honorable Presa, until we come to the end, if it is completely different from that report that we received, then we would raise those issues. I am noting your concerns, but let's allow him to present. Then I think we'll take it at the end. Can you continue, Mr. Lilaga?
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, honorable members. Thanks, Secretariat, for flying up the presentation. Shall we then maybe let's go to the next presentation, the next slide rather. That's just the outline of the report in terms of what is going to be talking to within the report itself. The next slide. The next slide, Honorable Chair, honorable members, is just the background in terms of the responsibilities bestowed upon the municipality by the constitution of the country. That outlines our responsibility there, and then as well as the planning in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the facilities that we need to maintain and operate in order to ensure that we meet the obligations insofar as the constitution mandates the municipality, and as well as the number of dams that we are having, the programs that we have initiated and that we have adopted as a municipality, like in a form of water conservation, water demand management, in order to ensure that the water losses, we have got water security, and then as well as there's revenue that's coming into the municipality. But of utmost importance is to ensure that the Chapter 2 of the Bill of Rights has been attained in terms of ensuring that all the communities and consumers within the municipality, we have got access to the potable clean water. The next slide. The next slide, Chairperson, it talks about the contributing factors to what the persistent water shortages, which at the pinnacle of it is the unprecedented population growth of the municipalities due to the neighboring towns, due to the neighboring provinces, and to some extent, neighboring regions that are flocking into the municipal space in search for job opportunities, in search for business opportunities, and some just for a good quality of life. So that population growth has been unprecedented in a manner that it has been surpassing the infrastructure development, and then as well as they putting stress and strain on the municipal facilities and infrastructure to provide for the reliable services. High water interruption resulting into water losses, the old and aged infrastructure, the different type of materials that we are using as a municipality, like your asbestos, which have been in the system for more than 60 years, and they've reached the end of their lifespan as a result of the continued pipe bursts and breakages that we are seeing. Deteriorating water quality, we know that you are inundated with mining operations. There's about 43 of them that are operating within the municipality. So as and when they decant, especially during hot seasons and the like, we've got a high concentration of manganese that comes into the dam and really do create a problem. Theft and vandalism, I've alluded to earlier on, to the effect that you've got both opportunistic and organized crime that are operating within the municipality and really do create us a serious challenge as a municipality. Electrical infrastructure has been stolen. As a result, we could not be able to pump water. The advent and implementation of load shedding, especially the higher stages of load shedding, they give an ample time and an opportunity for the criminals and the like to work onto our system, thereby damaging the cables and stealing them and those type of things. Inadequate budget for infrastructure. We had in the past that they indicated that our allocations that have been appropriated through the DORA bill and the like, they don't necessarily like match the extent and the amount and the financial injection that is required in order to address the challenges of the municipality that is. Right, the next slide, please. The next slide is about the water supply management within the municipality, whereby we indicate that currently that we have got approximately a high water demand of about 158, where now the actual one is 130, and that's inclusive of distribution losses and the like, which then comes down to say that yes, indeed, there's a need to augment the water supply within the municipality. We depended on the Olifants as we are seated on the upper catchment area of the of the Olifants catchment system, and there's about 70% of the output that we are having. The municipality, the three municipal systems, that's our Emalahleni one, the former Witbank one, the Hanala, and then the Risprait. We have got also external service providers, water service providers in the form of the mining companies, where now they've got acid mine drainage that is being then treated to the release water and then treated further to potable water, and then that is being sold to the municipality. It's not been given to the municipality, it's been sold to the municipality. We're purchasing them at average at about 10.62 rand a kiloliter that we're getting. We have got the Anglo that is now Tungela, which are as well as they have sold some of their assets to Tungela, and that has resulted in some decline in terms of the total output that we wanted. Glencoe is operating within our Polar office, and then you've got package plants that are operating within the greater Emalahleni water supply scheme. The table below just indicated the different schemes that you are having, the dams that are fitting them, and then the status in terms of they are over capacity, they are under capacity, they are below the design capacity as well. Thank you. The next slide. Right, it further continues about water supply management. The Hanala water supply scheme, we had a program there in the form of regional bulk infrastructure. Unfortunately, grant that was funded that particular project, but unfortunately it could not come to the end. But we had engaged the Department of Water and Sanitation, and as well as the National Treasury. We are resuscitating that particular program in order to bring back to speed and resuscitate and extend, upgrade the treatment, so that to accommodate the additional development taking place within the Tbilisi area and the Hanala area. So that is why we are seated, and we say that underground water, there's a challenge in terms of both the yield, but mainly it's about the quality there. But what are we getting from the mine in form of acid mine drainage, that is highly appreciated, and that is assisting the municipality. However, there is a cost that is associated with that the municipality from time to time find itself on the back foot insofar as the debt is concerned. The upper Olifants catchment area is characterized with high volume of coal mining activities and operations, and that contributes towards the deterioration in the water quality of the municipality. The next slide, it further speaks about a very limited recycled water that we are having within the municipality. And then we would want to have, there's about 7 operational sewer treatment facilities in the municipality. We have engaged local companies, local factories in the form of Highfield, in the form of ferrometals, and then Transalloys, which have shown an interest and indicated that they would be able to use our effluent pretty to the process water standard, and they could be able to use it in their factories. Then it will assist us in order to relocate the potable water, then redirect it to the residential consumption. This, however, is being done together with the Development Bank of South Africa, and it requires that particular partnership that needs to be concluded with the department, with the municipality, and then as well as with the private sector that I've indicated earlier on. Okay. The next slide is about the bulk capacity infrastructure within the municipality, and it indicates that currently where we are seated, we have got a capacity of 130 megaliters, and then the demand is about 167. And it also indicates that the total number of reservoirs, which we do have, but unfortunately at any given time, there is no adequate or enough water in order to feed to the areas. Hence, earlier on, the honorable member indicated that there are some areas that are suffering from water. It's as a result of the fact that we need to pump them to what you call elevated tank and then be able to feed the distant area and then high-lying areas. So the issues around load shedding, the issues around theft and vandalism, even before load shedding, as this problem has been coming over the years and the like, these are the main challenges that we have been faced. The main treatment facility within the municipality is the Emalahleni water treatment works, which the initial design capacity was about 75 megaliters. We have since upgraded it and is operating at about 95 megaliters in order to meet the demand of the ever-growing population within the municipality. However, in cases we do have got a challenge in terms of water quality, in terms of the operations, in terms of electromechanical equipment, to an extent that the spares, the funding and the like becomes an issue. But as a municipality, we go an extra mile in order to address that. We have, in lieu of professionalizing local government, to ensure that each and every other plant meets the minimum provisions as set by the regulations from the Department of Water and Sanitation, to ensure that there are process controllers that are qualified, that are graded and registered with the department. However, due to some other challenges such as funding and the like, we do have got that to an extent that can be able to operate. However, we still have got, there's still an opportunity of an improvement, that we could have the entire organigram that has been filled up with positions of qualified personnel in the form of process controller. That is not only process controllers, we also need electricians, we need a mechanical, we need the fitters, because the requirement in terms of blue drop and green drop and no drop, it says that each and every plant need to have a dedicated team for maintenance, which currently now we are using only one team that has got to attend to this particular problem. But in terms of the organogram and the structure of the municipality, it has planned as such that there, as and when we do have got the available resources in the form of funding, then we can recruit to the respective personnel. Thank you. The next slide talks to water conservation, water demand management. This is one of the strategies that is a legal requirement that we as a municipality need to have, so that we ensure that the water that is available is being allocated properly, is being utilized properly, and there's also an awareness that is being undertaken to inform and then make aware the consumers of their rights, of their responsibility towards water. So this particular strategy has been adopted by the municipality and we're implementing it. However, safe to say that negatively also it has shown that there's about 37% of technical water losses, water losses, especially in unmetered areas, will result in about 46% of the financial losses of all the water that is being produced and that is being sent out, built out to the communities. However, there's also a challenge in terms of delinquent payers. There's also a challenge of non-payment and the like. So whatever we are billing, in most cases, we don't receive all the money that has been billed. However, that is being undertaken through the programs that there's Operation Hlanzeka, Operation Siveze, and no. You know, those are some of the programs that have been implemented under the stewardship and the leadership of the Honorable Executive Mayor, just to encourage communities to come forward so that they could be able to pay for their services. 15 pipe bursts that we are experiencing is because that through the very same strategy, we have implemented what we call the water pressure management devices. They have addressed that. However, there's still a challenge, especially in an area of Ijagaru Park, the clear water there, and certain areas in the Del Judo extensions. We do have got a challenge there. We are working on it in order to ensure that either the pipes are being replaced, the pressure management devices are being installed to minimize them. The biggest challenge, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, is that there are the plans we do have got, we do have as a municipality, but the resources mainly about the funding, about the equipment, and about the tools. That's what we are looking as a municipality in order to implement the desired project. Water conservation demand continues. That's just what I've explained in detail. The next slide, that's what I've just explained. That's what we coming into the system, what you call system input volume, and then how it's been distributed. both accounted for, unaccounted for, billed and unbilled, and resulting into that 37 or 46% distribution losses, as I indicated. There's one other major challenge that even the Auditor General has raised, and us as a municipality, we're working towards that, to ensure that each and every other consumer, the meters are on, they have been read, they have been accurate, and then the bills are being issued timelessly, and attending timelessly to the pipe breakages and the pipe leaks. However, honorable members, honorable chair, we need to make mention that the theft and vandalism has moved from now, metal bearing, copper bearing components within the municipality and infrastructure. The water meters are being stolen, even those that are made of plastics. So there's a market for it out there. Then they are getting vandalized on daily basis. They are getting stolen. So that results in inconsistency in the water supply, dissatisfaction of consumers, and just destruction to the roads infrastructure. The water quality, yes, as a municipality, we are participating in the next slide, Secretariat. We are participating in the blue drop and green drop accreditation process, whereby now, even as early as last year in December, we had the Department of Water and Sanitation conducting an assessment within the municipality. And yes, we must say that from 2014 and the like, since we have been conducting that, and that we have shown an improvement that that the municipality has seen over the years. We are continuously going on in terms of addressing those particular issues pertinent to the water quality. One of which that we are doing is the refurbishment of the water treatment plant. We have got a scientific services department that goes about, take samples, conduct the test, ensure that they are compliant with the national standards as set up in the standards for potable water. We also have acquired a laboratory from one of the mines that have donated to the municipality. However, it still needs to be equipped in terms of the requisite equipment, and also get the personnel in order to operate their particular laboratory going forward. Thank you so very much. The next slide. The next slide indicates, honorable chair, honorable members, the interventions that are under implementation, and the challenges, and as well as those other people that would want them, the stakeholders, that would want them to come and assist. Emalahleni, we all are aware that it has got strategic development areas in the form of the low-cost housing areas, in the form of upgrading of the shacks into the formal housings. So we do have got an area called Sianoba there. There's a total of approximately 9,800 stands there, which are being provided in terms of the infrastructure and not the actual commodity. But we have got them occupied to an extent of about 4,500, 4,800, where people are currently abiding in those areas. The main challenge that we are having there is the water supply that goes to that particular area. Hence, that's why we decided that the construction of a water treatment plant, the wastewater treatment plant, and as well as energy generation. We have submitted a request, and then it's a favorable attention from the Department of Science and Innovation, to an extent that they've appointed an implementing agent in a form of Water Research Council, and they are busy finalizing the agreements with the sponsors, the technology providers, the program managers, and the like, and that will then be submitted to council to say, let's take it on. We expect that it will alleviate about an extent of 20 to about 25 megaliters of water that's going to be obtained from this particular plant. Duremport scheme is one that is on. We are doing that in conjunction with the provincial department of Cooperative in the form of MIG. We have started with this particular program. There's work that has been done in terms of the bulk pipelines that is being put up there, and then we also continuing up with the interconnecting bulk pipelines. There's a budget for it. There's contractors that are on site. We are going on with this particular project. The next one is the upgrade of Ferrobank wastewater treatment facility as well. The biggest challenge that we are facing, honorable chair, honorable members, is that some of these projects that are earmarked and intended to address the high water supply deficit within the municipality, they are high capital intensive and they do take time. So our allocation in terms of MIG is only limited to an extent that this project needs to be done in phases. And as we do them in phases, there's a lot of money that's going to be required because of time factor that would have lapsed. Okay, there will be escalation, there will be increases, there most probably be an issue around standing time. So our plea and our request was that let's initiate and implement the government initiatives called the bridge funding and then the loan funding, so that this particular program can then be isolated and be implemented within the project expected implementation period. Then we'll be able to reap the benefits and realize the impact thereof. This project is also intended to coerce in and lure in the private sector investment in the municipality. As I indicated, the 3 local companies there, they've shown an interest in terms of them contributing towards this particular project. And then as well as to have an offtake agreement to say that they will take the effluent water that is being processed and they'll process it further to their processed water to be used in their. There's the reuse part. The next slide, please. The next slide talks about modular plants. We are implementing the modular plants within the municipality simply because they are easy to assemble, they are quick, and they are also cost effective. What we have shown, what we have seen in the past, we have been operating from about 5 megaliters to a maximum of about 20 megaliters. We are introducing an additional 40 megaliters into the system because of their easiness, because of their effectiveness. And then now we have improved the technology that they could be able to address the manganese challenges that we are having as a municipality. Further on as well, we have engaged with the private sector in the form of the developer, whom we will be contributing towards this particular implementation of the system to address the wastewater that is being generated from the areas on the eastern side. You have Benfleas, you are Rhino Ridge, and then you are Bank and Land donation as well, we have coerced them in, especially in terms of the principles and the outcomes of the National Development Plan. We need to have the private sector participation. So yes, indeed, they do. The Highveld modular plant, that's in the main to unlock the development. One other strategic development area within the municipality is your Emalahleni area, is your Kromdraai area, is your Nooitgedachte area, whereby together with the Department of Human Settlement, we have entered into an agreement to implement the upgrading of informal settlement of about 25,000 within the municipality. That's a good initiative because that it addresses the principles in and around the housing policy of the municipality and to ensure that the communities we have got. However, there is a greater need that the bulk infrastructure, especially in the form of water, in terms of electricity, in terms of access and egress of roads, in terms of sewerage handling and the like, needs to be addressed so that this particular development could be self-sufficient, could be sustainable, and could provide a better living conditions for the inhabitants of those particular areas. So the modular plants are intended in the main to address, in the medium term, the water supply shortages, while we're looking at the bigger picture, like I indicated, the previous one with the Department of Science and Innovation. The bulk line, the Department of Human Settlement provincially, they've come handy. They are assisting us as a municipality in order to address that particular issue and unlock those residential development. Thank you. Safe to say that currently where we are seated in terms of the upgrade of informal settlement, there's a total of about 8,669 events that have been formalized for both water and sanitation. However, that has resulted in a shortage, a further shortage of about 6 megaliters within the municipal system. Hence, that is why we have got this particular edge. Regional bulk infrastructure, the Department of Water and Sanitation, they came on board. We really appreciate that fact. We are resuscitating that particular program. It will go a long way in terms of addressing the bulk infrastructure challenges, especially the leaking pipes to reduce the water losses, to extend the water to the areas that do not have water, and then as well as the pumping that is. Asbestos cement pipe, one again, the rehatch and resuscitation of the water services infrastructure grant has seen 45 million being appointed, and we have identified an area in the form of a judo extensions, whereby in excess of about 2,700 meters of pipeline will be replaced. We'll be replacing the asbestos, and we're going to be putting up a better form of technology of piping in order to reduce the inconsistency of water supply, the pipe breakages, and then the water losses within the. It's a program that's going to be implemented 3 years, the 3-year period. Indicated earlier on, our obstruction permit is underway. We are doing the public participation in order to increase the obstruction permit. Water service development, it has been adopted. We identify the next slide, please. Water services development plan is being adopted by the municipality. The regulatory authority has got it in the form of DWS. It is being posted up there. So we are implementing those projects through the available resources that the municipality is being exposed to. We have taken it.
Sorry, presenter. Chairperson. Can you go back to the previous slide, because you spoke about the timeframes there of 3 years? What were you talking about? Because this presentation just came now, so you're gonna have to live with that. So what were you talking about there on that program that has a target of 3 years? Which one?
Thanks, Honorable Member, and through the Honorable Chair. That program for the 3 years is the Water Services Infrastructure Grant, which is the grant funding that has been allocated over a 3-year medium-term expenditure revenue framework. So it means that on annual basis, we have been allocated 15 million to implement as a municipality.
I assume, Honorable Cesar, maybe it would be best to raise your hand so that I can recognize.
No, I called you, Chair. You didn't respond. I called you several times.
Don't call me, raise your hand. Proceed, Mr. Lelaka.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Apologies for responding. I was not on. On the next slide, we're talking about the comprehensive infrastructure plan that as a municipality we intend to finalize. We have got a challenge insofar as the resources are concerned, but in a form of basic and available information we do have got there. And it's also part and parcel of what we have submitted to the South African Human Rights Commission in terms of the intention and then the planning towards us addressing the water supply challenges. The Masakane development, that's the development that I referred to that has been undertaken by Department of Human, by the Department of, and then yes, indeed, the bulk infrastructure is a need in order to development.
We can hear you now. I think there's something.
Sorry, Chair, am I audible now?
You are audible.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. My apologies for that. The next slide on interventions under implementation as well is basically about the implementation of the upgrading of the informal settlement within the municipality, as I indicated, that together with the Provincial Department of Human Settlement and the service providers we have entered into. So there's various of them within the municipal space that we are implementing them. In the greater Emalahleni area, we are concentrating on the Nooitgedacht area, the Emalahleni area, and some of the former areas whereby now there was no formal infrastructure. That's what we are doing. Like your Tushana, your Tala areas, those particular areas. Then we take it further to another region within the municipality. That's your Paula Uchis area, whereby now we have got an area called Iraq. We have got
numbers.
The Honorable Chair, yeah, the first one he talks about the 25,000 houses, and then just the follow-up one they talk about in Tubilite area, where now we have got the extension 7, 8, 9, and 10. This particular program it was launched last week on a Tuesday by the Honorable MEC within the province. So we are continuing with those particular programs, and then as well the one in the new Iraq township, that is your Paula Ochis area there, where we are doing this particular development of both the upgrading, the formalization of the infrastructure, and possibly the construction of the next slide. We're talking about the unfunded interventions. That is where now we say that they would want to be assisted either from the province, from the national, or any other possible funders that could come into the picture, and as well as some other initiatives that we have undertaken as a municipality to engage the private sector, to engage the experts, to engage the tertiary institutions to assist us. Water supply scarcity, we're talking about commissioning of the modular plants that are intended, in the main, they're going to be served from our operational expenses. Commissioning of mine water reclamation, that has been done, is taking place. However, Chair, it's also safe to say that when you check in terms of the municipal financial performance, there's a great debt over and above that particular one of ESCOM that the water is coming on. The first one is about the DWS, it's ranging about 230 million rand. This the package plant, especially the mine water one, we have got the Anglo Twingela scheme. There's about 63 million rand. There's about 17 million rand as well on the Glencoe scheme. Our biggest challenge there is that there is a non-payment of services from the communities whom we are serving. However, there are strides and efforts that are being implemented by the municipality to ensure that there are accounts, there's meters installed, there's a help desk, there's an encouragement. There are people that are go to the communities to encourage them to come forward. High water losses, that's what we are doing operationally as informed by the strategy I alluded to earlier. The next slide, please. On the wastewater next slide, please. On the wastewater treatment plants and the works within the municipality, they are currently overloaded. We've got a total handling capacity of about 63 megaliters of basis. However, the actual one is in the region of about 80. But the biggest challenge, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, is theft and vandalism. One of the wastewater treatment facility in Tubilisi, it has been stolen to the ground, and it requires quite a lot of money in order for it to be brought back into service. Between 25 and 30 million rand that is required. So there's the theft and vandalism is a very, very serious challenge. It's a challenge that the municipality is facing. The construction of the laboratory in order to enhance and improve our activities in lieu of ensuring that our water quality within the municipality is standard. The next slide. Construction of the 30 megaliters. That's the one that I've indicated. Next slide, Secretariat, if you don't mind. The next slide, am I audible, Chair? Thank you very much. That is one that I referred to. Yeah, that is one that I've referred to, the 1 billion rand, 500 million, and the 300 million rand. That's the one that I've referred to earlier on to say that we have got assistance receiving an attention with the Department of Science and Innovation through the implementing agent, the Water Research Council. Replacement of asbestos cement pipes, that is why we still need that. The reinstatement of the RBIC, Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant, will go a long way in terms of addressing that. Where refurbishment, water treatment facility, there's about 40 million rand that is needed. RBIC will also be coming in handy there as well in the main on this bulk project within the municipality. Right? The assistance that we further request was to say that through the programs such as the Infrastructure South Africa and the like, would want to have an intervention whereby now they will be able to come into the municipal space and then and assist where we have got gaps, where we have got voids, especially insofar as planning and program management, and mainly insofar as funding is concerned. Insufficient water storage. Currently, where we are seated now, this is intended to accommodate the future growth of the municipality, that we need additional reservoirs within the municipal space. And bulk water supply lines intended to reduce the non-revenue water and unlock distribution losses. Replacement of about 450. There's the replacement program that we are talking to insofar as the asbestos cement pipes within the municipality. The next slide. However, these are unfunded, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, as I indicated. And we are saying that an intervention in terms of assistance in either funding and or to come in and provide that particular.
Yes, we can hear you now. You are muted.
No, I was saying
your movements are causing you not to be at times. We can't hear you.
I will sit still, Chairperson. Sorry about that.
Please.
Right, as I indicated, the intervention that would require is in a form of the initiatives such as your front loading, such as your bridge funding. We've got the DBSA coming on board to assist us as a municipality, get the private sector through the SLP program, through the CSI program, to say that let's have a regional project that is going to be addressing the backlogs within the municipality, whereby now we don't want to see any other, like on average, the 43 operations of mining operations that we have, each and every one, they've got their own SLPs. But the idea that we have is to say that instead of individual ones, let's have at least one regional program or project that all this mining company contribute towards and formulate that particular, like a water treatment plant as an example, to address this particular challenges. Because it is a fact that the migration pattern, the population growth is as a result of the mining activities, whereby people come into the locality in search of job opportunities and better life. Theft and vandalism, I've indicated that the safeguarding of the bulk infrastructure is really a challenge. Where we need an intervention or an assistance is to say that there's a national task team that is formulated within SAPS there. If you could be assisted, that they also come into the space so that to get to and assist the municipality so far as the theft and vandalism is concerned. That will be by conduction of raids, by conduction of the operations and the formalization of the metal scrap dealers. And of course, we would need to have industrialization in the township economy, the SEZ that needs to be developed so that you could get bulk and majority of our people economically active and work. Because currently the situation in terms of poverty is very high, in terms of unemployment that is high within our municipality. Thanks, Secretary. The next slide. The next slide, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, basically is how do you conclude as a municipality to say that indeed where we are seated, we're still experiencing a high deficit insofar as potable water supply is provided within the municipality. And that's against our water security principles, and that's what we need to have as a municipality going forward. The second one is about theft and vandalism that is thriving at higher rate within the municipality. That's the way we would require the intervention, because our cables, electrical cables have been stolen, the components have been stolen. It's just really bad within the municipality. Implementation of load shedding, it gives an opportunity, space, and time for the vandals and for the criminals to destroy our electrical infrastructure, and even the piping infrastructure, the water infrastructure as well. We've got what we call the air valves in the system that have been stolen. And as and when they have been stolen, then the pressure management within that particular pipeline is not taking place. So as a result, as and when we charge that particular system, and then we experience what you call the water hammering and then the pipe bursts. Illegal mining is one other big challenge. One of our main pipe was hit by the people that were doing illegal mining in and around Eric Liberty here and next to the highway here. So yes, those are some of the challenges. Conditional grant system that we are heavily dependent on, it is MIG in the main, is about 137, 142, 157, whereas our infrastructure, bulk infrastructure backlog is in the regions of billions and the like. Hence the initiative to say bridge funding and as well as front-loading programs will be able to assist the municipality. Sector departments to assist the municipality in resource mobilization, especially from the treasury side, from the GTech unit, that they could be able to facilitate private public sector participation, those particular models to be coming on board. Because otherwise, only us as a municipality dependent on what we are getting from our revenues is really bad. When you look in terms of our revenue collection, it's set at about 63%, and our break-even point is about 70-75%. So these are some of the challenges that we are having. And we are hence again pleading to say that the sector department, the sponsor department, even donor funding, they should come into our locality to come and assist us moving forward. And we agree, we do have got the plans, the maintenance plans. We've got standard operating procedures. The implementation thereof is entirely dependent on the resources that are available. Honorable Chair, honorable members, let me take this opportunity to thank for giving us as a municipality this particular opportunity. Honorable Executive Mayor, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. We have noted that you exceeded your time, but it was difficult to measure it. We must now move to, I see the hand of the speaker there. Speaker? Or it was a wrong hand. Okay, come in.
Good morning, Honorable Chair of the Portfolio Committee, and to the honorable members and residents that have came to your good selves. We really appreciate
you are
Mr. Clive Hedge and Honorable Kruger. But I'll just say that, as Chair.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'll just say I won't do a preamble, but I'll go straight to the public participation where Mr. Clive, when he presented in clause 6.1, spoke about matters of the public participation and informing community, so that we enrich the honorable members of the portfolio committee that indeed in Emalahleni, every after a council meeting, which we normally have ordinary meetings every month, and COCTA can attest, councillors within 10 days must call community meetings, and we have got social media groups where all councillors are represented, and whenever there are issues raised, they get a response within an hour. And we'll do follow-ups in those wards where mainly Mr. Hedge and Honorable Kruger come from, because it's good that Honorable Kruger was once a councillor in Emalahleni, and definitely he understands the issues, Honorable Chair and Honorable members, that all this is caused by the migration and the pattern or the system of the past, where there's a lot of aging infrastructure. But the same wards where they come from, we have got a report that when we were having even the IDP, current IDP and draft budget, they are not attending. You'll find only 18 people. And as a municipality, we do loud hailing, we do house drops together with the ward committees. You'll find only ward committees and the ward councillors. The members of the public, even if we have advertised and put public participation for such matters, even in the website, the local radio station, the print and electronic media, they don't attend. And would like to have also a session with them so that we learn and take the good stories and some of the solutions that they want to present. I was just enriching the honorable members that indeed we do call community meetings through ward councillors and ward committees, and they are functional. But members of the public in those different wards where they come from are not attending, and we have got proof for that. It was only that, Chair. But other than that, we are at your service. Thank you so very much.
No, thank you very much. We appreciate that contribution. Members are still going to come in, and you'll still have more time to respond. My attention has been drawn to the fact that the MEC Msibi is on the platform. We initially acknowledged the HOD, so that's your turn now, MEC Msibi, to introduce your a presentation. In other words, we are coming to provincial Coxstar now. If the MEC is there, can we acknowledge the MEC and he introduces the presentation, which is the last presentation from province.
No. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for the opportunity. I am being disturbed by a network. I had to drive almost 35 km because there's load shedding so that I could join your meeting. My apology, because I couldn't start with you on the basis of that particular reason. Secondly, we want to appreciate you coming to the province because it will enhance ourselves in terms of doing our work. And we also appreciate that for participatory democracy, members of the public can consult whoever they want if there are challenges facing any of our government institutions. Having said that, Chair, I may not want to spend most of the time because I was following the presenter. Perhaps I'll request that the HOD be given an opportunity to do a presentation. Just to correct, Chair, in the province, we are COCTA because we have not been merged with human settlement. We are in the form of Limpopo, KZN, and Free State, unlike Gauteng, where they converge both human settlement COCTA. And maybe, Chair, to also lob and urge you, it will be important that as you go back, we must encourage that provinces must merge these two departments. Because remember, it was a department of local government housing. Currently, if you check the presentation, just as a hint, most challenges are issue of bulk infrastructure, because when human settlement is given allocation of top structure, they just go and construct out of houses, while the municipality didn't plan for that, don't have money for bulk. So if it is one department, a particular MEC is able to ensure that the IDP is presented, it encapsulates the new development, and hence there's a budget for IDP. So I'm going to request HOD Ngubane to present on our behalf, but I must say that things are not good for our municipality, Emalahleni. The cleanliness of their town. When you go to the area of the ranks, there's a lot of people inside town. The town has collapsed. The paras, people who are smoking tobacco. We nearly have to intervene, all of us, including state security agencies, to try and bring back the life into the town of Emalahleni. HOD, can you please give it to you through the chair so that you're able to represent us in terms of our presentation? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC and the Honorable Chairperson, with the Honorable members, the executive mayors, the Speaker. I can say the whole troika that is here, protocol being observed, the community members that are a part of the meeting. It is our greatest opportunity as well, that as a province, we also highlight the issues, Honorable Chair, as we know them best at Emalahleni. And the interventions, of course, as well as monitoring and support that we provide as a department at a provincial level. I must indicate, Chair, that in as much as this presentation that was just finished now, also was monitored from our side in terms of the inputs that we had made, and that's the reason why you would find it in the provincial logo. And partly because we also thought that this must have been received by yesterday. Our apologies. We do find it here that it was undelivered because of the load shedding, probably that could not allow this to go through. In the morning, we then send it through. So my apologies to Mabteza and the whole committee, including yourself, Chair, that you could not reach this presentation on time. We had arranged, Chair, that because we may just be talking about water and sanitation, but there are many other elements that actually fit into it. So the state of a municipality, in terms of all the key areas that makes the municipality institutionally to function, is quite key. So just so that we can have a bigger understanding of where we stand with the municipality, what are the specific challenges and what are we doing about these challenges. And I think that's the reason why we said the Chief Director responsible for local government support just flight through the presentation quickly, and then we will come in to just reflect on the other issues, and where there are questions, Chair, we will then come in and field those questions accordingly. If you do allow, Chair, there is that presentation that just highlights the good, the bad, and the ugly about the municipality. But however, the areas that we are fine-tuning, like Mr. Lilaka has actually highlighted, there is a lot of funding that is also required there, which is also a pressure in the municipality. So some of the things I may say that institutionally may not be out of their own, but we would have to come together and see how we resolve those matters together with the municipality and also national government. So there is that presentation that is just going to, in short, highlight this from Mr. Gumene. Thank you very much. If you do allow, Chair.
Allowed. Thank you very much, HOD, and good morning to the Honorable Chair and the Honorable members. I am going to be going through quickly the presentation of the province as indicated, and also a good morning to the Honorable MEC. Honorable Chair, I will start off and request that we quickly move over to slide number 2. Slide number 2, Chair, just gives a categorization of our municipalities in the province after an assessment was done on the state of municipalities in the province. I just want to indicate, Chairperson, that Emalahleni is one of those that were also categorized as being dysfunctional. So if you look at the issues as they're being raised, we're also then able to conceptualize and place it in terms of the categorization of our municipalities, and that indeed it is a municipality that is facing challenges. Chairperson, I'll then proceed to slide number 3 and indicate that we will look at the situation in Emalahleni by using the different pillars of the back to basics. I will start, Chair, with on slide number 4, basic services. I'll go to slide number 5. Chairperson, slide number 5 just gives an indication of the district as a whole in terms of how they are looking, and as far as the issue of the population is concerned, issues of unemployment, the number of the households. So it just gives an overall picture of the district as a Hlanzeni. I will then move over to slide number 6. In slide number 6, we then drill into the situation per municipality in the district. And I will request, Chairperson, that on this slide, we pay attention to the issues specifically to Emalahleni. We're able to then see how the municipalities are doing on issues of providing piped water
issues of providing piped water in dwellings and in the yards, and also the different provision of the basic of water provision in each of the municipalities. But we are able to see, Chairperson, that in Emalahleni, there's about 5.8% of the households who still do not have access to piped water. On slide number 7, Chair, I will not spend a lot of time on this one. Mr. Lekala has spoken to it around the issue of the status of sanitation bulk infrastructure in Kangala. But if we look at Emalahleni, we're able, Chairperson, to see the picture that indeed there is a shortfall of water in terms of water. That's the shortfall. Also, the filling of the reservoirs, you're able to see that there's a shortfall in being able, in the municipality being able to fill those reservoirs. At least where we are seemingly doing well in Emalahleni is the issue around sanitation, where there isn't any shortfall in the provision of sanitation in the municipality. Chairperson, this slide, slide number 7, just gives an indication in as far as how we are doing with the spending of MIG. You are able to see, Chairperson, that indeed Emalahleni is doing well in the spending of MIG, because as at the end of March, in terms of the allocation given to them, they were standing at 78%, Chairperson, and we are confident as a department that the municipality will be able to spend all its MIG allocation. These are the challenges, Chairperson, that are affecting all the municipalities, and Emalahleni is not an exception. And on slide number 9 is not an exception of these the situation of these challenges, Chairperson. One of the biggest challenges is the issue around poor planning and implementation of projects. Again, we've given a directive as a department that municipalities must at least plan 6 months before the financial year so that they're able to ensure that their projects are implemented on time. And also that we are also coordinating and monitoring the planning of the implementation of these projects in municipalities. The issue of lack of capacity within municipalities to implement projects, it has been touched on human and capital. Also the issue, we're saying that municipalities must fill these critical posts with skilled and qualified personnel, but also COCTA and MISA and the district are continuing to support the municipality on the PMUs on project implementation. And that also the district has been appointed as an implementing agent on some of the projects, so as to ensure that these projects are implemented on time, and also that they're implemented to the best of the capability of the district. Another issue, Chairperson, is the lack of infrastructure maintenance, resulting in increased water and electricity losses. Mr. Lekala has already spoken to the issue around the distribution losses, which are caused by the lack of maintenance and aging infrastructure. We're also supporting the municipality to budget adequately for issues of operations and maintenance. And COCTA is monitoring that in this regard. Also, we're also calling upon the district offices of Public Works, Road and Transport to provide coordinated support to municipalities on issues around road maintenance. The issue of vandalism and theft of infrastructure is also a big challenge, Chairperson, and Mr. Lekala has also spoken to that. We're saying, Chairperson, that we must work together with councillors to lead civic education on infrastructure and also the importance of protection of the infrastructure. Municipalities must also ensure that they do provide adequate security for critical infrastructure such as your wastewater treatment works and the water treatment works. As also that the provincial security cluster must provide support to municipalities to provide this infrastructure so as to reduce the vandalism that has already been spoken to earlier on, Chairperson. Chairperson, the issue of aging bulk infrastructure, I'll not speak to it in detail. I've already touched on that, and the municipality has also touched on that. But again, the issue is that municipalities must prioritize the upgrading of bulk infrastructure while addressing the aging infrastructure. And that municipalities must also improve on infrastructure maintenance to ensure consistent delivery of basic services. And also, Chairperson, that we must mobilize the private sector through the DTM to support municipalities in addressing the issue of aging infrastructure. We are aware, Chairperson, that it's a huge task that municipalities are faced with, and as government alone will not be able to address this matter. The issue of non-revenue water, electricity resulting from leakages and illegal connections is also another major challenge facing the municipality of Emalahleni. And we're also saying, Chairperson, that we must ensure that we enforce bylaws to deal with the issues of illegal connections. Also, the installation of meters and continuous auditing of these meters to ensure that the meters are functional and there's no breaching of meters. We must also increase implementation of water reticulation projects in communities, and the municipalities have already spoken to some of the projects that they're implementing to address this issue of water reticulation projects. Another challenge, Chairperson, is the poor or non-existent water conservation and demand management. And we have also engaged municipalities to budget for planning and implementation of water conservation and demand management plans so as to deal with the issue of conservation and demand management. Another problem, Chairperson, is the escalating land invasions, where we have informal settlements mushrooming in all over the place, and therefore creating a problem for the municipality to be able to deal with this issue. But also, as these land invasions emerge, Chairperson, there's illegal tapping onto the infrastructure of the water and electricity, again causing huge losses in terms of these illegal connections. But also, where these connections are done, you find that the distribution losses because there's no payment for these services, and that is another issue being caused by the land invasions. We've instructed executive mayors and councillors to lead the fight against the land invasions, Chairperson, and also that municipalities must enforce their bylaws to ensure that those illegally occupying land are dealt with accordingly by increasing enforcement capacity. The hijacking of projects, Chairperson, is a big problem where we have a number of business formations coming in, demanding 30%, hijacking projects, and this is slowing down the project. In some cases, the appointed contractors cannot continue, they abandon these projects, and it creates a problem, Chairperson, in as far as the implementation of these projects is concerned. We've instructed municipalities that they must ensure a transparent and fair distribution of projects and job opportunities in the respective communities to ensure that all business people have adequate opportunities to contest for these projects that are being implemented now. The issue of the continuous pollution of water resources due to poor operation and maintenance, as well as the issue of the mines, the municipalities already spoken to that, Chairperson. I think what we're saying that is important that we've stressed to the municipality is that we must ensure that we appoint qualified, competent, and certified plant process operators, as well as to improve on the maintenance of the wastewater treatment works in each of the municipalities, Chairperson. Chairperson, I will move over quickly to financial management. As the HOD has said, we want to give an overview of the state of the municipality, but focusing on the district, Chairperson. Chairperson, this is how the audit outcomes have looked over the past 6 years. I want us to look into Emalahleni. Indeed, we have seen that over the past 6 years, they've remained unqualified. They haven't moved or improved or regressed. And therefore, this does show that there are still some challenges in as far as the finances of the municipality are concerned, Chairperson. This is just an indication of the provincial performance. You are able to see, Chairperson, that Emalahleni is one amongst the 14 that remained unchanged in as far as the audit outcome is concerned, because they did get a qualified audit outcome, Chairperson. The next slide, Chairperson, gives an indication of the UIFW expenditure for the past 2 years. It gives a picture of the district of Nkangala. And indeed, Chairperson, my apologies, that will be slide number 15. Indeed, Chairperson, if you look at this slide, you are able to see that we are seeing good performance in Emalahleni in as far as trying to deal with the issues of a UIFW. Of course, Chairperson, we do acknowledge that it is indeed quite still high, but we are seeing an attempt by the municipality to begin to deal with the issues of the UIFW. Chairperson, if we move over to slide number 16, it just gives an indication of what I've already spoken to, so I'll not spend a lot of time on that. I'll move over to slide number 7, Chairperson, where we were giving a comparison of the unfunded budgets from the municipalities. You are able to see, Chairperson, that Emalahleni has remained with an unfunded budget over the past 2 financial years, which is also a problem, Chairperson, because in as far as dealing with the issues that are raised by the communities, it will become a challenge if indeed the municipality has passed an unfunded budget, Chairperson. Chairperson, this is an indication of the municipalities on slide number 18, an indication of the municipalities that are owing ESCOM. Chairperson, you are able to see the situation in Emalahleni, where the municipality is sitting at over 7.4 billion in the monies that is owed to ESCOM. And Chairperson, I will not spend a lot of time on that slide. I'll move over to slide number 19. Again, Chairperson, we're showing municipalities that are owing the Department of Water and Sanitation. As at the end of February, again, you're able to see that Emalahleni Local Municipality is one of those municipalities that are also owing a huge amount of money to the Department of Water and Sanitation. Chairperson, I'll go over to slide number 20, where we're indicating some of the challenges that are being raised under financial management, as well as the proposed solutions. The biggest and the first challenge we're raising, Chairperson, is the lack of commitment to good financial practice by councils and municipal managers. The MEC and the MEC for COCTA have already started engaging the troikas and the MMs to discuss this issue of ensuring that there's good financial practices in the municipalities. The issue of the poor audit outcomes, Chairperson, I won't spend a lot of time on that, but of course, we noted in the earlier slides that Emalahleni, over the past 6 years, has not been able to move from the qualified audit outcome. They've remained on the qualified audit outcome over the past 6 years. But Provincial Treasury and COCTA, we have developed an integrated audit improvement support plan to support all municipalities, including Emalahleni. And we are confident that we will be able to see an improvement in the audit outcomes of the municipalities. But we've also emphasized to the municipality that they must develop a credible and realistic audit action plan that must be approved by council, and it must be implemented as approved by council. We're also raising, Chairperson, that we've said municipal councils must take decisive actions on all municipal managers and CFOs who continuously deliver a disclaimer and adverse audit outcomes and not showing any improvement in the audit outcomes of the municipality. The issue of the increasing unauthorized, irregular, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure, I've already spoken to that, Chairperson, and indeed in the earlier slide I indicated that Emalahleni is one of the municipalities that has shown progress in dealing with the issues of UIFW, but the increasing UIFW remains one of the biggest challenges under financial management. Issues on the next slide, number 21, Chairperson, issues of fraud and corruption. We're saying that it still remains a challenge in our municipalities, and that municipalities must ensure that there's consequence management for transgressions on financial misconduct. Also, municipalities must develop case management system that keeps records of all reported cases and cases under investigation, and also track these progress and report accordingly to the department, as well as to ensure that these cases are also reported to law enforcement agents. Another challenge, Chairperson, is the inadequate billing systems and inaccurate billing. And we're saying, we've alluded to earlier on, Chairperson, that municipalities must ensure that they install meters that are working and that there's frequent checking and auditing of these meters. The issue of the escalating debt, Chairperson, we saw Emalahleni is not doing well, but we're continuously supporting the municipality to ensure that it develops a credible repayment plan and that it adheres to this repayment plan, Chairperson. Issue of poor spending of grants. We're happy, Chairperson, that we've seen Emalahleni standing at about 78% on the MIG expenditure, which shows that the municipality is attempting to do well in this regard. And we're hoping that, we believe that they will be able to spend all their allocation, Chairperson. Chairperson, on slide number 22, the issue of unfunded budgets, I've already spoken to that, Chairperson, and we're saying that we have supported Emalahleni to develop a budget funding plan. And we hope and we believe that if the municipality implements this budget funding plan, we will be able to see an improvement in the reduction of the amount of the unfunded budget plan. But I must indicate, Chairperson, that the MEC has been very clear in this regard that there must be no unfunded budget approved by any municipality in the province now. Chairperson, around the issue of, there's also an issue of the low collection below the norm. We've seen that one of the municipalities that is not doing well in as far as collection is concerned is Emalahleni. and we're saying that we have supported the municipality to develop and implement, and we have asked them to implement the enhancement, revenue enhancement strategies that we've supported them on. And also that municipalities must source the necessary skills to collect on outstanding debts, Chairperson. The issue of the collection is a big, big, big problem, Chair. Escalating debts continue to escalate, but we believe that if we get the right support or the right people to collect on these debts, we will be able to address this issue in municipalities, Chair. The last issue, Chairperson, the use of electricity revenue for operational expenditure instead of paying ESCOP is one of the contributing factors that municipalities are collecting money for the provision of electricity, but this money ends up being used for something else other than the payment. And Emalahleni has also been directed to ensure that they ring-fence money collected from electricity sales, ensure that this money is paid to ESCOM, Chairperson. The next slide, Chairperson, on putting people first, I'll quickly just move over to slide number 24. The issues of public participation were raised earlier on by Mr. Hatch as he presented his presentation. Chairperson, this gives an indication in how we're doing on the functionality of ward committees. It gives a picture. If you look at Nkangala, you are able to see that we're not doing so badly in that out of the 143 ward committees we have, 132 of them are functional in Nkangala. If you look at the municipality specific on the next slide, you are able to see that in Emalahleni, of the 34 wards that have been established, all 34 of them are functional. Probably, Chairperson, what we then need to look at is the issue of how we ensure that these ward committees play or improve the communication that is being communicated to the communities, because in the earlier presentation, Mr. Hatch did raise the issue of a communication gap between the municipality and the communities. But if we have all ward committees functional, we should be able to address this issue of the communication gap, Chairperson. Chairperson, I will not spend a lot of time on this slide. The next slide, it was just giving the issue around the non-functionality. It talks to the municipalities that have non-functional ward committees. And of course, as I indicated earlier on, Emalahleni is not one of them because all their ward committees are functional, Chairperson. We'll move over to the next slide, Chairperson. We're saying, Chairperson, these are the issues that are being raised by communities in Nkangala whenever there are protest marches. The issue of electricity is one of the issues being raised. The issue around water is one of the issues being raised. The issues of unemployment is another issue being raised. The issues of poor infrastructure in the hospitals is another issue being raised in the district as a whole. But it's an issue that cuts across all municipalities, particularly the issue of electricity, water, and unemployment, Chairperson. I'll move over to the next slide, Chairperson. We're just raising, Chairperson, some of the key challenges that the municipalities are facing. The issues of councillors not calling community meetings to give feedback to communities. And we've already directed through the Office of the Speaker that he must ensure that every councillor calls a community meeting at least every quarter to give feedback to communities on issues happening in the municipality, and also the concerns that have been raised either through communities, protests, or through the CTWs, and that these issues find expression in terms of the Speaker's reports, but also the councillors give feedback to the communities now. Also, Chairperson, we're currently in the IDP processes. We said that after the adoption of the IDP and SDP, every councillor must call a community meeting to give feedback on projects that have been approved on the IDP for respective wards. We all know, Chairperson, that councillors and municipalities go out on engagement process, but once it's been adopted, we must be able to ensure that we strengthen the feedback so communities know which of the projects they raised made it onto the IDP and which of the projects they raised did not make it onto the IDP. Again, I was indicating, Chairperson, that we've directed the speakers that they must develop and monitor an annual schedule of community meetings for each councillor and ensure adherence to the set schedule by all councillors, as I've indicated above. The issue of non-functional ward committees, Chairperson, luckily Emalahleni is not one of those affected, but again, we've directed the speakers that supported by the MMs that they must monitor the functionality of the ward committees and ensure that the ward committee meetings are called, Chairperson. I'll not spend a lot of time on this one because Emalahleni is not directly affected on this one, Chairperson. On the next slide, Chairperson, we're indicating that we've also identified that there's lack of reporting by councillors to speakers' offices and to the department. And we have already developed a reporting framework to the speakers, which indicates how we would want them to report and how the councillors must report to the speakers. And then the speakers would consolidate and submit these reports to the MEC on a quarterly basis, Chairperson. There's also the issue of the lack of responses by municipalities and sector department on issues raised. Communities embark on a protest, they raise issues, there's no response to these issues. Issues are raised through the CTWs, they're sent to the municipalities, and there's no feedback. And therefore we're saying on a quarterly basis, we will consolidate and submit all issues that have been collected to the respective municipalities, indicating those that have not been resolved and urging the MMs and the HODs of affected departments to attend to these issues. We're also indicating that, Chairperson, we have already established a provincial community concerns committee where we're sitting quarterly and we're discussing with the respective municipalities and sector department issues that have not been resolved. Also, Chairperson, the issue of the participation of traditional leaders, which has been very slow, and we're indicating, Chairperson, that we will be strengthening and urge municipalities to ensure that Section 81 of the Structures Act is fully implemented. Chairperson, on good governance, I will not spend a lot of time on this slide. We're just giving an indication, Chairperson, on the issues of the functionality of the oversight structures like council, your Section 80, Section 79, and council and the Troika. You're able to see, Chairperson, how Emalahleni is doing. If you look at Emalahleni on this slide, you're able to see in terms of the council sittings, the number of the mayoral sittings and so forth. This is the performance of the municipality. Compared to the other municipalities, Chairperson, you're able to see that the municipality is doing well in this regard, Chairperson. Around the issue of the challenges, Chairperson, I think we are raising that we are seeing weak oversight of the governance structure, such as your Section 79 and Section 80s and the MPECs, and we're urging the speakers to take charge of the functionality of these oversight committees. The department, SALGA and SALGA have already provided training to these section oversight committees, particularly your MPECs and your Section 80 committees. And also, Chairperson, the MEC has directed executive mayors to ensure that all Section 80 committees have schedules of meetings adopted by council and that they follow these. Chairperson, the issue of Mbombela, I will not spend time on that, but I almost indicate that we have since resolved that issue of Mbombela. The other issue, Chairperson, that we are seeing is the low community, business and investor confidence in our municipalities. We've directed municipalities through the MEC that they must create regular platforms to engage with business and investors and also the communities to help rebuild confidence in local government. The issues that have been raised earlier on in the petition, these platforms that we're urging municipalities to create are the platforms that these issues must be dealt with, Chairperson. We're also talking, Chairperson, to the issue around the lack of appreciation by council for the professionalism and proper recruitment and retention strategies and processes. The issue of capacity, skills capacity was raised earlier on, and we're saying, Chairperson, municipalities there must be a clear distinction between council and administration, and an understanding and an appreciation for the distinctive yet interdependent roles that are played by the two.
Can we please conclude? Can we please conclude?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think, Chairperson, I just want to go to the last slide. I'll skip to and go to slide number 36, Chairperson, and give an indication on the vacant critical posts in the district and in Emalahleni, Chairperson. We're saying, Chairperson, in Emalahleni, we still have a vacancy for the CFO, the Director Corporate Services, Director Development Planning, and Director Environment and Waste Management. Now, Chairperson, we are raising this issue because we believe that if the municipality has got a full complement of its staff, it will be able to address the issues that have been raised, but also improve on the performance of the municipality. I must indicate, Chairperson, that yes, the recruitment processes for these posts have already started and at different stages, and I think the municipality will be able to touch on that. Chairperson, I just wanted to give that indication on this slide. And thank you very much, Chairperson. I think I will end there with the presentation. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. I've been getting pressure from the members because of the presentations, the number of presentations. But we have come to this stage now. I will not allow the DG or the head of department to fill any gap. We'll only fill gaps now when we respond to questions. I understood that the province was trying to give us a picture of what is happening, specifically in Emalahleni, but broadly in the district. Can we take hands? Can we take hands? I see the hand of Honorable Opperman, Honorable Teza, Honorable Space. For now, I see those hands. Can we take them in that order?
Good morning, Chairperson.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I have load shedding on my side now, so I'll ask for permission not to put on my camera.
No, it's understood.
Thank you, Chair. I want to ask a question. I don't know to whom I must pose the question. I'd like to know more about the Human Rights Commission's report in 2013. They were supposed to have a maintenance and operational plan drawn up within 3 months and then sent to the Human Rights Commission again. I want to know, was that report, that was one of the recommendations of the Human Rights Commission, was that tabled and adopted, tabled before council and adopted? And if not, why not? Because it's now been 9 years since the South African Human Rights Commission report. And how much longer does the municipality then need to solve this human rights violation? And then I'd like to know the capacity per day currently is 130 megaliters and the demand is 158 megaliters per day. And they also stated that by 2035, they will need 260 megaliters per day. The demand will increase. So I want to know what plans are in place to meet the current and future demand. And also in one of the presentations, I talked about 600 kilometers of water pipes that needs to be replaced. I want to know the definite plans in place for the replacement of that water pipes, because it was also reported that there are 15 pipe bursts per day and they only have one team to work on the pipe burst, and they are losing a lot of water. The technical water losses are 37%, the financial water losses are 45%. So a lot of water are lost due to pipe bursts that are not being attended to. Then in the biggest municipal dam, there's acid water that goes into that dam due to coal mining. And it's also reported to council, it was reported that the manganese posed a health risk since 2021 in the annual report to council. I want to know what definite plans are in place for that health risk. And I also want to know, because there's a lot of mines, do the municipality have the social labor plans and the social responsibility plans of the mines, especially the coal mines, as to what the mines are going to do on their side to help the municipality with the water crisis that they have. And then it was also reported that the water smells foul, and there was a picture that Mr. Hatch posed about how the water looks. It is not clean and people are without water for 6 days on end. I want to know what plans are in place to resolve that issue. And also want to know, do they have a dedicated person for the Facebook page? Because it was reported that all comments were stopped on their social media pages, and there was a councillor who said that they do have meetings and also IDP meetings, but it's not attended very well. So I want to know, do they have a dedicated person to attend to their social media pages when people post where they have problems there? And then I want to know, with load shedding currently, they did mention that it's a problem of load shedding because it takes up to 3 days then to fill a reservoir, and the pump stations are also flooded. I want to know the definite plans when we end this meeting. What are the plans in place? And it's 3 days is too long for people to wait for reservoirs to fill up. And they also said people in different wards, like Ward 19, that the JoJo tanks are not filled regularly. Ward 5 and 6, that people have to buy their own water to drink. And Extension 16, where residents went out and bought their own water pipes to be installed by the municipality. That is it for now, Chairperson. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we, it's Honorable Plaza.
No, Chair, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you your permission to actually switch off my video because it could distract sometimes my thought process, this thing of seeing yourself while you are dealing with pertinent issues of the people here.
It's fine.
Thank you, thank you, Chair. Let me start here, Chair, and greetings to all honorable members from the province, the municipality, and the committee of COCTA here national. Look, Chair, let me start here. The committee is forcing us to use wrong platforms to actually raise on the issues. I think that you must put your foot down when it comes to issues of meetings and presentations, Chair. We've been raising this issue with you for quite some time now. Please, Chair, I really caution against this thing because most of the time we prepare prior this meeting. We spend time through the wee hours of the morning to try and prepare and check on the relevance of the issues and facts and science behind them. And if we get the presentations like that willy-nilly, it's really, but I accept the apology, the genuine apology that I got here from the presenter from, sorry to forget his name, from the province. I do accept that, but I caution against that. But again, we had a meeting again that was postponed, the workshop, where we wanted to actually get the department's capacity to work, to discharge its function, but those things are postponed. But be that as it may, Chair, let me go to the presentation very quickly. Section 17 of the Constitution, Chair, speaks about that everyone has a right to present a petition, and across political lines and across racial lines, there is no politics. There is no politics on sorry about that. There is no politics in service delivery, Chair. So this says that even Section 24 speaks to these issues, but Section 27(1)(b) also speaks to the issues of sufficient water in terms of these things. But it's a problem that cuts across, Chair, the entire country that we have raised here. The issues, the first impression that you'll get in Witbank, Emalahleni, is the question of roads. It's almost like that municipality must be called the Department of Potholes in South Africa, because that's the first impression. And here in the long presentations, we are not getting timeframes, Chair, about these issues. If I was a presenter, I was going to say, here are the targets. Here are the timeframes. Here is the budget for it. Here is the short term. Here is the long term. I've seen the long term here, but I'll go through it later on. But Chair, I will ask the province. This question goes to the province. Because in light of the fact that this is affecting the poor, who must use 350 that they get monthly to purchase electricity so that they can boil out the contaminants that are in the water, as we have seen this thing here. How has because now if we're talking about IDP, Chair, and talking about budgets, procurement, installation, we're going to have to go back to a protracted process of the IDP. And as urgent as the situation, how many people must die in this municipality in order for the province to act in terms of the disaster management? Because I think this situation is quite urgent when it has to deal with the health of the residents, when it has to deal with the environmental aspects of the municipality. Why are they not declaring a provincial disaster so that perhaps they can access the budget to actually deal with these issues in the immediate, and then take water tankers, you know, and with time frames this time around, Chair, to say that we're going to use these water tankers under the state of disaster, and they will end up here because they can't be a sustainable solution in terms of providing water. Because you know the issue of Zululand will come to play where friends are just given these things and sustain the inavailability of water again into another 20 years, as it is the case in some municipalities like Giyani, Ngqusha municipality, and even Emalahleni in the Eastern Cape currently. So what stops them from declaring this a disaster? Because it deals with because after we've had all the assessment and the magnitude and severity of the impact of water crisis in Emalahleni, then what do we do in terms of what should be done here? That's what it's at the center of these things, because we've had the section 153 of the Constitution gives the municipality what should be done, but is it done here in these things? No matter how this presentation speaks about as many and a plethora of things without timeframes does here. And I wanted, lastly, Chair, I wanted to deal with this matter of calling people and responding and being reactionary in responding to the petitioners here, that they are not attending meetings. This here, we should not be hearing that from the Speaker of the municipality, Chair. Not at all, because that indicates the amount of, sorry about load shedding, that indicates the amount of discouragement and it demonstrates that the people are no longer encouraged to go to those meetings because generally people are doing their things, they're doing washing there and doing, you can't expect people to respond to a buggy of the municipality that just goes once for malicious compliance. You can't expect them to respond to those things. There are many factors that could have contributed to people not coming. You don't just call people and disrespect them like that and just pass their houses and they will ask you, who is that? Then they say the municipality. They will say the municipality, the same municipality that does not respond, because that's the reason now why these petitioners are here in the national government, in the national court. It's because of many consultative processes wherein they were not responded to. So You don't do that to people. People are doing their things there. You just don't come here and just tell us about people are not coming. It's a lame excuse. We can't take that as some contribution or that is scientific. You can write letters, you can go door to door there and respond to them individual. It's because it shows that the municipality is not in touch with the people. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Space.
Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity. And I want to, from the onset, say, and I want to align myself with the former Honorable Member Kweza. We need to have a proper structure and order of our meetings. Presenters are being informed about their time slots way in advance, and also in the manner which they present. And I will specifically mention the fact that the director was running away with us. I don't know where was he rushing to. It scares me to think what it is that people must endure if that is the way he approaches things. And when we raise issues, Chair, you cannot just squash us like that. We don't want to deal with our dirty laundry before petitioners and people, but if we are being squashed or suppressed, we must raise the issues. I want to address my questions in two ways. The one is the issue on non-communication and non-responsiveness. And the other one is obviously the reason why we are here this morning is because of the challenge that this community is having for so many years. Honorable Kweza was correct. The speaker was out of order. He was not even supposed to be given an opportunity to speak because we will raise the issues. I have it on good authority that the ward council, that community members need to speak through ward councillors when they want to address the issues of water. And if the ward councillor don't get any feedback, they don't get any feedback. And then we are being getting things, or things are being presented to us and sugar-coated. It is not acceptable. The issue of communication with residents is key to all of the problems that we have heard this morning. And if people are being responded to in time and accurately, 50% of the problems that we have could actually be dealt with. But it's not happening in this municipality. I heard this long presentation about ward committees and things. The thing is, we would not be sitting here after 11 years still dealing with this problem if this municipality had their ducks in a row. Chair, when officials are not responding, I want to understand, has there been any consequence management in terms of officials not doing their work? And officials having dealt with the situation in the manner they have? And clearly, I want to understand, has there anyone been fired for not doing their work? I want to ask the director, through you, Chair, for how long has Mr. Lelaka been the director of this department of infrastructure? I want to understand, why isn't there, as mentioned by Mr. Ash, why is there no qualified water engineer? How do you expect to solve problems if there is no qualified water engineer? I want to understand, when Mr. Lelaka mentions that a water conservation and water demand unit has been established, I need to know, when was this established? Who serves on this? How frequently does it meet? And what is the scope of this unit that has been established, or is it just another structure? And is there actually any action happening? I want to know how this municipality deals, what exactly are they doing to deal with the criminal activities, which is called vandalism, when it comes to infrastructure. What exact plans are they having in place? The same goes for the contamination of the water. What exact plans are in place? And Honorable Opperman already mentioned, and I wanted to also say, what are the mines doing and or assisting in this regard? Then Mr. Elaka was to give us an indication of what the condition is of their wastewater treatment plants. And in the same breath, I also want him to explain to us what is the maximum water capacity or maximum megaliters that they can pump from the Witbank Dam on a daily basis. My next one is on the budget prioritization. I want to get a sense of how high on the priority list is the upgrading of water infrastructure in this municipality. Now, being a dysfunctional municipality and also having unfunded budget probably is not the best question for me to ask, but I need to understand if there is a seriousness and an urgency and a willingness for this council to prioritize this. I have heard that there were amounts mentioned over 3 years, and the annual amounts that will be used to address some of the challenges. My question is, if that is being the case, and if that is the case currently, what are the challenges and the obstacles in executing these specific plans and projects that has got budgets attached to them? Chairperson, the issue of non-payment, if I were community members from that area, I would also not pay. Because why are they paying for not having services, for not having water coming out of their taps, for not having clean water, for sitting with water, without water for days? I would not be paying if I was them, because they are not getting a return on any investment they make. And that is not what we want. We cannot have a situation where we are having people putting their health at risk, their health being put at risk by a municipality who clearly doesn't care about its residents. That we have to sit here this morning was sad for me to listen to this and to hear that people have been ignored for so many years. And this municipality and its leadership needs to assure us today of the plans. We don't want to hear beautiful stories and also of how residents are not attending meetings. You are not communicating to your people. We talk to people on the ground. Stuff is not happening, and it's clear that it's not happening. I think what we need from this municipality is exactly what are they doing. And the director needs to slow down. He needs to sit and clearly speak so that we understand him and that the people that he deals with or serves in that municipality also understands him. Because if that is the way things are dealt with in this municipality, we are not going anywhere. There is a lot to say, there is a lot to ask, but I think what is in the interest for me and maybe other members is exact plans, timeframes attached to that, and that there should be a follow-up from this municipality to us as a committee chair. I would like to stop there at that point. I might have follow-up questions, and I want to really request that our questions be answered as comprehensively as possible, Chair. Thank you. What is happening, Chair?
The next one is Honorable Mbumza.
Thanks, Chairperson, and good morning to members. Chair, we must welcome the presentation by both the petitioners, the municipality, and the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the province. Chair, critically in this report and the petition itself, it raises almost 4
very critical matters that needs to be attended. Because the report raises a serious problem around water security for the community of Emalahleni Municipality to exercise their right to access clean, effective drinking water, as well as their right to dignity. But in the presentation by Clive, there's an indication that the municipality does have an old age infrastructure whose pipeline is that of asbestos cement, and which is old. And then these 600 kilometers, they are now causing this municipality to have high leaks and everything. Then therefore, it throws a question as to what extent is the municipality ready to mitigate and also overcome the fact that their supply is almost 130 megaliters per day, whilst the current demand is running at 158 megaliters per day, throwing a serious spanner on the type of water security that the community of Emalahleni Municipality must enjoy. Similarly, again, Chair, we are observing that in this presentation, there is a serious issue on safeguarding bulk infrastructure against vandalism and theft. And we would like to know, does the municipality have the capacity and the capability to ensure that the bulk infrastructure is safeguarded against vandalism and theft, so that they could render efficient and effective services to the communities? We are also observing that there is deteriorating water quality, because the source, which is the Olifants River, the source where they are drawing, the water is inundated with mines and the effluent of manganese, as well as the fact that is on rocky area where some form of lime is actually infiltrating the water flow, which would cause now a very high cost on water treatment works, of which the municipality would not be in a position to afford. Then what plans are in place by the municipality to address these particular matters? Some colleagues have raised the issue of the plan. I have seen that in looking at addressing the whole aging infrastructure, and critical to this, Chair, we need to understand and be informed by the municipality whether the municipality does have the capability and the capacity for asset management. Because if the policy does have a robust asset policy, asset management policy, it would very early on time be very aware of the useful value of a particular asset along the pipe. Your pipelines are said to be that of asbestos and cement, and then therefore, which is a serious problem. Now, these matters have been known long before, and they would inform your budgeting process for infrastructure provisioning. Then, to what extent then do we have the capability and the capacity to maintain such an asset management policy and have a capability within the institution of managing the asset? Because assets are very vital in your provisioning of a sustained service delivery, and they contribute very much to the vitality of the economy of the city. That's why I'm saying then the existence of the municipalities is about the management of these very assets. Why is it that then therefore we have so much challenges within the governance of these assets in the municipality? When the gentleman Hesh was presenting, he indicated that in his report, that in the presentation, this matter was taken up to the South African Human Rights Commission, which had made some recommendations to the municipality, indicating that the municipality must develop an operation and maintenance plan that would be effective to provide clean water. And this plan would have to be some form of a feedback with the community. And he was indicating also that the Facebook page and the help desk line in the municipality, they are to some extent inoperative, are not responding. But the Speaker of Council is countering to say that even in their IDP processes, whenever they are visiting that particular ward, the community of those wards, Mr. Hesh, are not attending to such meetings. Can you be explained, together with you, Mr. Kruger, why is the community not attending when called by the municipality? Or is the Speaker actually cooking a new story against what you are alleging in this report, that their Facebook and their help desk line are not inoperative, they are not responded to? Could we be explained on that? Thanks, Chair.
Very much, Honorable Msimango.
Thank you very much, Chair. Greetings to everyone that is in the meeting. A number of issues that I wanted to raise have been raised, except to say in the presentation, the gentleman that was doing the presentation, especially of the municipality, he might have been faster for me. I could not pick up the answer to the petition, because I think what brought us here, or what made us to converge in this session, is one question as to say, when are we resolving the issue of water for the people of Emalahleni? Now, I thought that then the budget will then speak to time frames which are clear as to say, from this day up until this day, this is what we plan to do in order to make sure that we resolve this issue. And then the presentation must also talk to the budget shortfalls, so that the provincial government and the national government can then be able to come in and assist. So those are the things that I might have not picked up. But also maybe because in reality we might be speaking a long processes, or even big English. But the most important matter that we need to answer here is that at what point are we resolving this issue of water for people of Emalahleni? I think if we can concentrate in that, we'll then be able to make sure that we come back and deal with the issue at hand. And then the last thing that I wanted to check with the municipality, and this normally becomes the reasons of many municipalities. They will say we are having an aging infrastructure. This infrastructure, I don't think that you wake up today and tomorrow you are told that it is aging. It's something that you know continuously. Now, why are we not having plans because we know that the infrastructure will definitely come to, will face its lifespan. Why are we not having plans to make sure that we deal with this issue of holding infrastructure? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Groenewald.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I've only got two questions. The first thing is that do the municipality have a master maintenance plan in place? If so, what does it say about your replacement of all the infrastructure? And is that also your older infrastructure, is it included in the IDP processes that you are busy with? Chairperson, that will be my two questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we have come, for now, we have come to the end of questions. This is now the opportunity for all the presenters to respond to questions. I may not be able to determine the order. All I know is that as a political principles, the MEC, and then the executive mayor, you will determine who comes in when. MEC? Honorable MEC Msibi, is he still in? If not, the HOD.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. We're still struggling with load shedding. Maybe the MEC was kicked off in the meantime. Thanks for offering this opportunity. Indeed, I've been taking notes from all the honorable members. Indeed, they went straight to the point, because then it demonstrates the fragmentation that I think perhaps our responses to the petitioners has been crafted. And I see this being one area that we need to sort out with the municipality. Perhaps within 2 days, again, we need to have had a very structured action plan in this regard, because there are areas that I am actually admitting that they just are evasive in terms of the spot on time frames, as well as, just to measure for ourselves with the resources we have, whether we'll be able to run the course in terms of addressing all the issues that have been raised. Nonetheless, Chair, I must indicate that indeed there are issues which we can deal with as a matter of immediate effect. In fact, there is a short-term, medium, and long-term. I think it just appears here that we could not be able to table this in a very convincingly way, so that it may just actually show what is it that we shall be doing in each specific time for that matter. I think in a way, perhaps if the MEC was still around, perhaps we may just need to have a session, even with the petitioners, again, Chair, if you do allow, that in a municipality setup, we go there in the council chamber and then look into all these issues so that we can be able to address them in terms of the time frames, as well as the proper action plan that should be put in place. I do believe that there are things that have been put in place. I do also believe that the resources allocated to the municipality, that is your likes of the MIG grants and the like, they have been committed to deal with these specifics, and these challenges are still there, some of them being addressed currently as we speak. But I think it just may, help us if we are all under one roof, and then look at the extent to which these are being sorted in each of the financial years as they are presented. I do want to even indicate, Chair, that we will commit as a department as well, that we should actually be able to come back to the portfolio committee when the council has also adopted such a plan. This is irrespective of the fact that, well, I have been able to see the master plans and the like, but we need to now draw from these master plans to come to an understanding of the action plan in place that needs to be put so that when adopted, we are also being measured against that action plan as a province, as well as the district and the local municipality affected there. So mine, just to be short, Chair, is that I have looked into all the matters. In fact, all of them are worthy a attention of both the department, the district, and the local municipality. If only we could just be given just one more last chance, Chair, that we actually gather ourselves in a very, integrated manner that shall seek to address this with the petitioners, even with us, if they do come to be amenable about that. And then we can actually present yet another plan to you, Chair, which we will be convinced can actually address those issues. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I would suggest that let me facilitate and check with the petitioners the request that you are making, that you be in one roof, under one roof, develop a response to some of the issues they have raised. Can I take, I see your hands, Honorable Kruger. Can you come in?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Chair.
On this request by the department.
I don't see a problem with that. We want to see solutions. We don't want to see problems. So I'm sure the community, but you must ask Clive because he's representing the community. If I have a problem, personally, I don't have a problem. But Chair, that's not my hand. Can I talk about my hand? Why I put my hand up?
Can I finish this one first? I will come back to you with your issue.
Right, I'll keep my hand up.
Let's just get an understanding. Mr. Hatch, what would be your attitude to the proposal?
Thank you, Chairperson. I certainly can see no problem from the community side if we have a solid meeting to talk about all the problems and we meet together. We won't have a problem. Our concern is to get water for the community. We have no other concern in the matter. So certainly I would like to say that we will go ahead with a joint meeting.
Okay, no, that's fine. Then let me come back to you, Mr. Kruger.
Yes, Jay, just to follow up on Clive, and with our experience show that we waited nearly 3 years for this petition to be tabled in Parliament or to come in front of a committee. We don't want to wait another 3 years, please, Chair. But that is just what I want to say. But my hand, Chair, it's about the Speaker of the Emalahleni Municipality that came in uninvited, and he made all sorts of accusations. Never in my life, and this is now 9 years in Parliament, I was humiliated as much as what the Speaker tried to do. He tried to play politics here, and I'm not happy with that. And Chair, I had my hand up when the Speaker had spoken, and you ignored my hand. So that's also a problem. So I'm very disappointed in the matter, how you as a chairperson handle the matter. Thank you, Chair.
No, it's fine. We'll check on what you are saying. The Speaker was not invited. I was not sure, but my assumption was that if you say municipality, there would obviously be a speaker. So I will check on that. Maybe I didn't see your hand. I don't know what it was going to say because the meeting itself is open and anybody who speaks, yes, of course, is subject to the rules of this meeting. Rules of Parliament, by extension, the committee. But I'll check on the issue of invitation. What does that mean? And in relation to a person who is called speaker. Honorable members, I have had a proposal from from COCTA. And it apparently looks like the petitioners are accepting the proposal to have a meeting in Mpumalanga at Emalahleni to look at all the matters so that they can come to the committee with definite responses, clear plans, time frames, and budgets, as was indicated earlier. So I'm not sure how you want to respond to that, honorable members, because you were the ones who were raising questions. That's the response for now. It's a general response to say, let's go back and we'll come back to the committee. Any member would want to take up the issue as proposed and supported?
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Space.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, Chair. Yes, Chair, I think we concur. We do want proper responses, and we would rather than go the route that was proposed. I don't have a problem with that, so I would support that.
Okay, Honorable Mbumza.
Yeah. Thanks, Chair. I rise to second the proposal by Honorable Space. However, Chair, we would like that when they come back, the Department of COGTA has just informed us that Emalahleni has been categorized as a dysfunctional municipality. And then it must indicate that when they come back to us after meeting the community of this particular ward, as well as Mr. Hesh and Mr. Kruger. Because again, this is the department that is, when presenting, which indicated that almost 5.4% of the residents of Emalahleni municipality are without a piped water. We would want to know why is it that situation with that particular community. At the same time, when COGTA was also reporting, was indicating that this municipality is expanding its MIG very well at 80-something%. But on the same presentation, they are indicating that there is poor planning, despite the support of MISA, the district, and the department. Because when we say there is poor planning, is an indication that that municipality does not undertake a forward planning that would ensure effective implementation of services. They must respond to those questions when they come back to us after meeting. That is the petitioners. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Teza.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I'll support that, because then we'll get a comprehensive report on a number of issues that were raised by honorable members here. Because the time between now and the sitting will compromise the responses, as often is the case where people just skip our questions, and I would like them to respond when they come back from meeting the petitioners on the issue of Section 106 investigations. And perhaps, hey, Chair, we've been asking this thing of the Directorate of Priority Crime Investigation and Special Investigation Unit reports on Section 106 reports of the Systems Act for quite some time. We would like them to respond on the involvement of the outcomes, Chair, of these reports as it pertains to the issues that they raised of vandalism, of all those things, and of people that are taking responsibility or held liable within these investigations, because we want them to come true. And the Auditor General saying that the municipality debts is 30 million. They spoke about the collective capacity of the municipality, the skills shortages to collect. But my interest is to say that collect from where, from what, how much, how many, what collection strategy are they using in terms of the government departments that are owing the municipality and the debt that the business people are owing across that municipality. I would like those issues, those two issues, to come true, Chair. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure, Honorable Space, is that an old hand? I wanted to finish the members before I come back to the petitioners and the COCTA as well as the municipality. Honorable Space, is that an old hand?
Chair, I just want to say one thing is that we need to get a specific date of the meeting that is going to take place, and the meeting must receive priority and it must be urgent. It cannot take too long, because the problem, if we leave this meeting today, the problem of water still persists.
My assumption is that you are saying exactly what the other gentleman said, that the meeting must not take 3 years. Now it is urgent. What we may not be able to do now here is to determine the date of that meeting. It is their meeting. We must put it on COCTA to say, convene that meeting, facilitate it, and the municipality will be there, and the petitioners and whoever else must be there. So the meeting is urgent, must not take 3 years. Honorable, let me talk to our administration. I'm sure they have been taking notes. They would refine some of the issues that you have raised so that they are captured as part of that meeting and sent back to COCTA and the municipality. Can I don't know if these are old hands, Mr. Kruger.
No, Chair, it's not an old hand. It's a new hand.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I just want, if we see the plans, if they draw up the plans and they present the plans, please, we need the plans with the budgets. We need to see the budgets and where is the finance are going to come from, because we saw that from the presentation from Michael Laka, that it will cost billions of rands to fix Emalahleni. So we need also a plan for, we need a budget, and then we need the plan to say where will we source the money. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Hatch, is that an old hand?
Thank you, Chair. No, it's not an old hand.
Yes, please.
Chair, I would just like to clarify that one thing was the statement by the speaker about not attending community meetings. you've got to be considerate of the community you're dealing with. In the last IDP meeting in Ward 34, in Emalahleni, where I stay, was at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. In a piece of felt, the people had to take their own chairs. Now, it's a Christian community. At 9 o'clock on a Sunday, you're not going to get people going to an IDP meeting instead of going to church. If you ask Mr. Lalaka, when there was a community meeting called because of load shedding, he had over 270 people who arrived for that meeting. So it's the convenience of the meeting. It can't just be imposed on a community by the speaker. Now, I'd like to also clarify, the Ward 34 Ward Committee meets every single month, and the minutes go in every single month. And I've served on that committee for 8 years now. Now, I can assure you, in 8 years, there's hardly anything that has come off the minutes, because I doubt if once it gets to the Speaker's office, if they even get read. So we've got to please see the council does the same.
Can I assume that you are cut? Honorable members and the petitioners and COCTA, as well as the municipality, I think all these comments now are comments meant to enrich the coming meetings, where you would be meeting and what kind of product do you produce from that meeting, which must come back to the committee. And I've said our administrators as well would collect some of the issues raised by members so that they can form part of what will be discussed in those meetings. And your concerns and issues, in fact, this is the first meeting. If a petition is like this, you are forced to come together, then you have asked us to go back and you want to sit down and see how do you respond to issues that were raised on behalf of the community. Honorable Teza, what is the end? We are trying to wind up the meeting. Honorable Teza, is that a new hand?
It's an old hand, Chair. Let me take it.
It's an old hand. But now I am not sure if the MEC is back. If the MEC is back, I would allow him to make some comments and consolidate the commitment to go back and come back, as well as the as the executive mayor. Are they still around?
Thank you very much. The executive mayor is still here. I'm listening. I'm in part of the meeting.
Yes, I'm allowing you now to make your concluding remarks after this request and granting of it by the committee. Any comments from your side?
Thank you very much, Chair, for allowing me an opportunity to come in and make the remarks. Yes, as a municipality, we want to thank the committee and the petitioners that have petitioned us to the portfolio committee, because together we can work in order for us to give our communities constant supply of service delivery. So we truly appreciate this meeting, and we want to commit that all the discussions and all the things that we've agreed upon, we are going to sit down, especially with the master plans, the action plans. We'll work with COCTA and the petitioners in order for us to reach consensus and make sure that the people of Emalahleni, they get the best service, because it is at our best interest at heart to make sure that we supply them with the best service delivery. And we are striving as a municipality to make sure that we are one of the best municipality in the country. It's not that when we are faced with these challenges, we are sitting down and we are not doing anything about it. The only challenges that we are faced with are the challenges that we have presented as a municipalities, issues of theft, issues of non-payment of services by our communities and aging infrastructure. But with the assistance of national government and provincial government through our master plans, we will be able to make sure that we commit and make sure that in the meeting that we have planned to sit down with the petitioner, we are going to find a solution, and we'll come back to this committee with solutions, not with problems. We welcome all the discussions and all the recommendations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Executive Mayor Cocter, as well as other officials. We will now close this meeting, but use the same platform to address what was raised earlier. Can we release all our guests and our officials as well? Try to do whatever to disconnect anything that would be linked to the previous meeting. The previous meeting is adjourned. The portfolio.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Yes.
We thank you, sir.
You are all released, yes, except members. Members of the portfolio committee must remain.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Bye-bye.
Yeah, good morning, Chair, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.